Namaste, and a hearty and warm welcome to my virtual yoga studio here on YouTube. As always, I am immensely grateful that you've decided to share some practice space with me, and I love that we get to do this with the connection of technology, so thanks for being a part of it. So I'm filming this 2 days after the spring equinox, and we're getting a lot more light this time of year, and the seasons are shifting. And that does inform the kind of practice that I'm sharing with you today. But know that even though it's kind of centered around this specific spring season, it's going to benefit you at any time of the year. The work that we're doing is still great work, so it's appropriate for any time. But the reason that the spring equinox is kind of informing this practice has to do with the fact that the tradition of Ayurveda, which is the sister science to yoga, says that each season is associated with a different element. And I've always been kind of fascinated with the way that yoga practice can be so intertwined with the earth and the changing of the seasons. I just think that's a really cool way of staying in the flow. So I'm always interested in ways to practice that complement the changing of the seasons. And I also just get very excited when the seasons change like they are right now, because it means the world is working still. So I've always loved the idea of linking yoga practice and seasons, and Ayurveda says that each season has an element. And spring, which I'm in right now, is associated with the earth element. And so it's very much, about being grounded. The earth is coming back to life in the spring, things are blooming, so it makes a lot of sense. But like many things, there's also a flip side to that. For example, in the fall of this past year, I taught a grounding yoga practice because the fall is associated with the air element. So in the fall, it can be kind of easy to get ungrounded with all of the airiness around. So it's good to practice in a way that's grounding to balance that out. So springtime is associated with the earth element, and in the spring, it can be kind of easy to get too grounded. When you've got a pollen headache and you just kind of want to lay around, which there's nothing wrong with laying around, but the yogis would say that to balance out that feeling of being a little too grounded and sluggish, we should practice in a way that is invigorating. Practice with some vigor and with some power, just to kind of liven ourselves up a little bit. So that's the kind of practice that I want to offer to you today. And again, it's informed by the fact that it's springtime. We're kind of balancing out that super grounded nature of the spring, but you can benefit from this practice any time of year, because what I'm offering really, it's just about just cultivating a sense of aliveness within ourselves, lighting up our fire, just revitalizing ourselves and opening up. Maybe we're opening up for the new season, for all the light, or maybe you're opening up for a new opportunity in your life, or a change, or you just want to be a little more alive in the moment. That is the intention of this practice. So if you're looking for something like that, you're in the right place, and I'm excited to do this with you. So before we get started with the practice, just a couple things, some props that you're going to want to have. You'll want to have 2 blocks for this practice. So of course, if you don't have traditional yoga blocks like this, you can use thick books. You can use anything that's rectangular like this. You can substitute it for anything. So you'll want 2 block-like things. And then you might want a blanket just for sitting or for padding your knees. A blanket, a towel, anything like that could work. Then of course, anything else you feel would help you be supported and set up in a beneficial way, go ahead and grab that, but you'll definitely want blocks or something you can use as blocks more than anything else. And then before we go ahead and dive into the practice, just one more thing, and that is that remember that this is a practice for you. I am over here on your screen making suggestions and guiding a certain type of practice, but in the end, your body knows exactly what it needs more than I do. So please feel free to customize this practice in any way that you feel like would benefit you. You can modify to be more gentle, you can modify to be more vigorous, or anything in between. Just know that you are empowered to practice exactly how you need to. And now that you have listened through my entire TED Talk, I promise I am done talking and we are going to start practicing. So let's do it. Go ahead and get comfortable in your seat. So you can sit in any way that works. You can cross your ankles. You can stack one ankle in front of the other. You can straighten your legs. You can sit on your heels. You can sit on a blanket or a block. Sometimes it's nice to lift our hips higher than our knees to make space in the lower back, the hips, the kneecaps. Once you find your way into a seat that works for you today, go ahead and lengthen your spine. Reach the crown of your head toward the sky, the tailbone toward the earth. Allow your shoulders to slide away from your ears as you move them back in space. Just a little lift in your heart. And then if it feels good and as you're ready, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And release the breath. And do that again. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. And keep going. Start to find a rhythm in your breath as you inhale and exhale through your nostrils. Allowing the practice of nostril breathing to be a yoga practice for you today. As you begin to turn your attention to your breath, breathe with consciousness. You are already practicing yoga. And so you use that conscious breath as a way of settling in, arriving fully, and cultivating the space of your practice today. And you will probably notice that your mind wanders away from your breath 100 times before we get done. It's no crime to have a human mind that wanders, so don't worry about it. Just view that as 100 opportunities to bring your focus back to your breath. And as you do that, you're actually creating new neural pathways in your brain, and it becomes easier for your brain to remember how to get back to the present moment every time. Biologically creating more presence within you. We'll do that together for just a couple more moments as we begin this practice today. As your next exhale completes, tilt your chin toward your chest. Blink your eyes open and adjust to the light around you. And then roll your chin back to neutral and come to standing. And if you're using a yoga mat, if you'd like to, or if you have the space to, just step off the mat. And the reason for that is it's grounding. And of course, for this practice, we're kind of trying to do the opposite of grounding. We're trying to invigorate and pump up the energy, but it's still nice to begin a practice by grounding ourselves, just to really settle into the space. So if you have a wooden floor, go ahead and step onto the wooden floor if you'd like to. If not, just feel the carpet fibers under your feet. It's just nice to step onto a natural surface, just to feel that steadiness of the foundation. So once you get there, go ahead and separate your feet a little bit wider than hip width and begin to bounce your knees a little bit. Just get kind of buoyant in the knee joints. Good. And then come to stillness with a little bend in the knees. We don't want to lock the knees, but we don't want to bend so much that we crunch the spine. So just allow yourself to lengthen your spine. We're going to begin today with a breath practice called Breath of Joy, and it is all about revitalization. It really pumps the energy up in our bodies, and that's the purpose of this whole practice, and it's a great way to kind of dive into that. So I'm going to take us through 3 sets of 10 together, and I'll do a little demo, and then we'll all begin together. And just know that if at any point you're feeling like, okay, I am invigorated enough, I am feeling kind of lightheaded, my energy is up enough, just rest in on mountain pose in stillness through that particular round. If you'd like to sit one out, that's perfectly fine. So before we take our first round, I'll demo the breath. we inhale in 3 parts. So it's like you're sipping a little bit of air in every time. It sounds like, and then there's a movement with the breath. We inhale, arms up, inhale, arms out, inhale, arms up. Then we let out a big exhale, bend the knees, fling the arms out like, ha! So it's a big release. So we're gonna do that in 3 sets of 10. Just remember, if you get a little bit too heady, you're energized enough, sit out whenever you need to. You decide what you need. But to go for the breath, we'll begin. Inhale, 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 ha! 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 Good. Ha! Halfway done. Ha! 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 2 more. Ha! Last one. Ha! Roll back to standing, return to stillness. You can extend your arms by your sides or bring your hands to your heart, and feel free to close your eyes if that feels okay. Take some deeper breaths. Allow the breath to help you settle here for a moment. Try not to lock those knees. I just noticed I was locking mine, so my fellow knee lockers, just release in the knee joints a little bit. Maybe begin to notice that increased heart rate. Maybe you feel viscerally the flow of your blood through your veins. Maybe you're more aware of your own energy field as you start to just vibrate a little bit with some of this energetic movement. I'm going to take us through a second set. Remember, if you're already energized enough and you want to just take stillness, please feel free to do that. If you're coming along with the breath, inhale. Ha! Inhale, 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 ha! Ha! Excellent. Ha! Ha! Halfway. Ha! 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 2 more. Ha! Last time. Ha! Roll back to stillness. Hands by your sides, hands to your heart. Settle in. Good, good work here. Return to your breath and allow things to settle. Feel that energetic shift that comes from just inspiring your own aliveness. Notice how your body begins to shift as you practice. Maybe your shift is that you're a little more sweaty. That's a shift. Just let there be a sense of ease to contrast some of that energetic effort here for a moment. 1 moment longer. And then from here, I'll take us through our last set of this breath of joy practice. If you'd like to come along, come along. If you're already exactly where you need to be with your energetic invigoration, that's great. You can stay in stillness. For 1 last round, if you're coming along, inhale, 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 ha, 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 halfway there, ha, awesome, ha. Last 2. You got this. 1 more. Big release. Come back to stillness 1 more time. Settle in. Start to form a relationship with your breath, your heartbeats, your own sense of being alive in this moment, in this body, in this world, as a yogi right now. Notice how you just start to buzz and vibrate a little bit as you cultivate a sense of energy and vitality, well-being. Then blink your eyes open, return to your yoga mat. You can clear the mat of props if you have props. Stand at the top of your mat with your feet either hip-width apart, so feet directly under your hip points as they fall on the front of your body, or you can heel-toe your feet in so the inner edges of your feet touch. It's about what feels stable and beneficial in your body, so find that. Interlace your fingers. Stretch your palms straight out in front of you. Pull your shoulders up, back, and down. Feel that engage in your shoulder blades, and then imagine pulling your fingertips away from each other. You won't actually do it, but that isometric movement, again, just engages the shoulders, the upper arms. Excellent. Keep that. Inhale, begin to send your hands straight overhead. Don't lose the engagement in your shoulders. So if your shoulders start to crunch up toward your ears, take them back and down, maybe back out of it a little bit. It might not mean, or it might mean that your shoulders, it might mean that your triceps are not totally beside your ears, but that's okay. We want to get good integrated shoulder engagement, and then when you find that, just stretch your chest forward. Maybe lift your chin a little bit if it feels good. Just get a big, big opening in your upper body and take some big open breaths to support it. Good, just starting to take up space. And then from here, separate your hands, circle your arms wide as you exhale and release. Take a few moments to roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Massage your own upper back with your shoulder blades. Really good. Release your shoulders away from your ears. Come to stillness. Take your right fingertips to your right thigh. Inhale, reach your left arm up. I'm mirroring, so we'll look the same from side to side. Your left shoulder, again, it's gonna wanna come up toward your ear. Take it back and down, plug it in. Good. Keep that as you inhale, reach to the right, send your hips to the left. Variation of standing half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Good. You pull that shoulder back. You press evenly into your feet, especially your right foot. Reach through those top fingertips and open that side body. The yogis would say that our side body is the space where we have the capacity to feel bliss. Bliss is also associated as a quality of the moon. So here we are in a half moon, blissing out. You look awesome. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, let that arm lower down. Left fingertips to your left thigh. Inhale, your right arm comes up. As you exhale, you plug that right shoulder in. Good. Inhale, lean to the left. Take your hips to the right. Exhale into your half moon. Stretch through those top fingertips and just work that side body open. Good, good, good. Find your breath. A couple nights ago, when this was filmed, we had this beautiful spring equinox super moon. Maybe you imagine you could drape the side of your body over that glowing full moon. And then inhale, come on up. Exhale, lower that arm. Go ahead and recenter, find your position at the top of the yoga mat. And then from here, we're gonna begin to move with the breath. So adjust as needed, get yourself comfortable, get solid in your stance. Inhale, reach your arms toward the sky. Exhale, bend your knees, lengthen your spine as you hinge at your hips and dive forward. First, standing forward fold. Bend your knees here. We want to get the ribs to thighs, stretching the spine more than we're worrying about strengthening, more than we're worried about straightening the legs. Do engage your legs though. Press your feet down and apart, thigh bones back and apart. A little engagement in the lower belly, kind of like cat pose to draw yourself into the fold. Good, you can always use blocks underneath your fingertips to bring the mat, to bring the earth a little closer to you. When you're ready, inhale, take a half lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Good. Moving with the breath, inhale, reach up. Palms overhead if you can, stretching your chest forward. Yes, engage your glutes and your low belly to protect your low back. And exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Move with your rhythm, your breath. Inhale, reach up and stretch your heart. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Enjoy linking your movements to your breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Beautiful. Inhale, half lift. Roll your spine out. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach it up. Stretch your chest. Get some heat going. Exhale, dive forward. Yes. Inhale, use your core to help you half lift. Exhale, use your core to help you fold. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold, just moving that energy around a little bit. We inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, dive forward. We're taking 3 more with your breath. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach and stretch, longest spine. Yes, exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach it up. Last time, we exhale, we dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach it all the way up. This time, take your hands to your heart as you exhale. That might have been 1 less than I said we were gonna do, so you're welcome. Just 1 more moment to stand, and again, just notice how it feels when you start to build your own energy. Shift the flow of your energy and just tap into your aliveness. That's what we're trying to do when we do these physical yoga practices. So take just a moment in stillness to check in, to notice these rhythms of your body, your energy currents just waking up. And then from here, grab, let's see, what are we grabbing? We're grabbing both of our yoga blocks and set them at the top of your yoga mat on either side of the mat, so they're there. If you're using a blanket in your practice, have your blanket just close to one side of your yoga mat so that you can grab it if needed. And then we're coming back to the top of the mat. Hands to hips, take an inhale, step your right leg a leg length backward on the mat. Square, we're not there yet. Point your right toes toward the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Your right heel is firmly grounded on the earth. If that means you have to shorten your stance to get your heel down, do that, that's fine. Press like crazy into your back foot. Get the back pinky toe so fired up that you feel that all the way up your leg. This is your foundation point. Use that strong back leg to start to square your hips. Move your right hip forward toward the top of the mat, your left hip back. Same with your rib cage, right ribs forward, left ribs back. Prioritize squaring your hips. This is one of those actions that it's more like you're working toward it. I don't know if my hips will ever be perfectly square, but that action keeps us strong. So we're keeping that. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bend into your left knee. For warrior 1 legs, make sure that that knee is behind or on top of your ankle. If it's coming past your ankle, lengthen your stance out a little bit. It's keeping the knee joint safe. Work these legs. You can stay right here or inhale, add the arms. Reach your arms up. Notice those shoulders, they want to scrunch up. Take them back and down. Beautiful. Stay here with arms shoulder width or hands overhead to pranam, just like you were practicing stretching your heart forward. Yes. It's a bit of a back bend, so imagine you could draw your hip points up toward your rib cage to engage your low belly and keep your back safe. Good. Press your feet down and apart. Take up strong space in those legs. Yes, it's all about taking up space here. We're taking 1 more breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, take your hands to your hips, fold forward. Take your hands to blocks or to the mat on either side of your left foot. Take your right foot, turn your toes toward the front of the mat, drop down onto that back knee. We're coming to a low lunge. Pad your knee with a blanket if you need to. Inhale, reach your arms up. Stay here, or again, if you'd like some more sensation in your shoulders, As you exhale, bend your elbows like a cactus. I'm just turning so you can see a little better. You're pressing your elbows back, your chest forward. Yes, you keep squaring your hips, right hip forward, left hip back. Send your tailbone down and forward as you move your shoulders back. Yes, you can do all of that in your mind or in your body. It's all the same work. It's just about being open and bright. Maybe you're opening to the light of the springtime, to the light of yourself, to whatever it is that you want to open to more of in your life. Gorgeous, really strong. We have one more breath. At the bottom of your exhale, plant your hands. Inhale, tuck your right toes. Exhale, send your left foot back to meet your right. Find a downward facing dog. Before we get into the alignment here, just pedal that out. Bend one knee, bend the other. Maybe notice some contrast from your left leg to your right here. And then come back to stillness. Everybody, step your feet back just a little bit. Take a bit of a longer down dog. Our instinct is to take pretty short down dogs, but you see how much more rounded my spine is here. When I walk my legs back, I have a lot more room. We'll press our hands down and forward, feet down and back, lifting shoulder bones and tailbone toward the ceiling. Yes. From here, inhale, round your spine. Roll forward to plank pose, shoulders over your wrists. Plank can be done kneeling. We just want to press down through the inside edges of the palms and round the lower back to tone the belly. Yes, exhale, send your hips up and back to down dog. We're going to do that with the breath. Inhale, rounding forward. Exhale, hips up and back to roll out the spine. This can also be done on your knees as cat-cow, if that's a little much on your shoulders and your wrists to do it up here. We're gonna take 4 more with the breath, wherever you are, rolling out the energy of your spine. Good. Just getting in touch with those energy currents. Let your next round be the last. Exhale, settle into down dog. Inhale, look forward, tiptoe forward. Half lift at the top. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Beautiful work. Let that settle for just a moment. And then from here, we're going to take the second side. So from the top of your mat, hands to hips, step that left foot back, about a leg length on the mat. Point your left toes toward the upper left-hand corner of the mat. Ground that left heel firmly, even if that means a bit of a shorter stance. In Warrior One legs, you can also stand like you're on train tracks, walking your right foot a little more to the right, left foot a little more to the left. Sometimes that helps with stability. Then before we go anywhere, press like crazy into that back foot. Yes, fire up even your pinky toe and feel that fire all the way up your leg. This is your foundation. Use it to square that left hip forward, your right hip back. Good. Rib cage as well. Keep that firmness in your back leg, squaring in your hips. Bend into this right knee. Make sure it doesn't come past your ankle, then press your feet down and apart. Take up space in these legs. Just work the leg or inhale, reach your arms up. Plug your shoulders in. Arms can stay shoulder width, or you can take your hands to an overhead pranam, overhead prayer. Stretch your heart forward. Do what works in your body, please. Just engage your lower belly to protect your low back. Press into your legs. Open, bright, taking up space. Gorgeous work. I know I can't see you, but I can feel you, and it's gorgeous. One more breath here, you got this. As you exhale, hands to hips, fold forward. Bring your hands to your blocks or your mat on either side of your right foot. Turn your left toes toward the front of the room. Drop down onto that back knee for a little lunge. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, like a trident, like a cactus. Bend your elbows. Pull your elbows back and open your heart forward. Send your tailbone down and forward to open that hip. Yes, all of this can be done in the mind or in the body. Beautiful. Keep squaring your hips. Press into that front foot. These arms, these trident arms, they come from Shiva's trident. Shiva was known as the original yogi in the yogic tradition. He had a trident to symbolize his conquering of fear. And to invoke Shiva's trident, it's just about being fearless enough to live as an open-hearted yogi in the world. So feel this open heart. Good. I'm done talking. Take your hands to the mat. Inhale, tuck your left foot. Exhale, right foot back. Downward facing dog. Pedal it out. You're doing beautiful work. Just notice yourself from one side of your body to the other. Notice the subtleties and currents of your own body. Then come back to stillness. Step your feet back just a little. Lengthen your stance. Lift your tailbone way up and back. Thigh bones press back. Hands press forward. Shoulders lift up. Yes, release the top of your head toward your thumbs. Then inhale, round your spine, roll forward to plank. Exhale, shift your hips up and back, down dog. Move with your breath, roll out your spine like a wave. Just diving deep into that current of your own energy that runs along your spine. Yes, this can be done on hands and knees as cat-cow as well. 4 more with the breath. Make this your final round. Beautiful. Come back to down dog. Exhale and settle in. Deep breath in. This time as you exhale, lower onto your knees. Sit back onto your hips and come to a seat. Feel free to prop your hips up on a blanket or a block. Whatever seat works for you. All right, we're alive. We're getting there. We're going to do another breath practice together now that is also aimed at just pumping up the fire, making us feel invigorated and alive and just inspiring that sense of vitality. So this breath is called breath of fire, Kapalabhati in Sanskrit. And the idea is that we're pumping our belly, and the belly is said to be kind of the place where we have our inner fire. So we're pumping the belly to kind of build that heat and just energize ourselves and feel that sense of being really alive. So one of my favorite teachers taught this, and she said, it's just like a panting dog, like, but it's through the nose. So it sounds like, oh man, ooh, don't know what happened there. It doesn't sound like that, it sounds like, and it's a really strong, powerful exhale. As you exhale, you pull your belly button back towards your spine. So pulling your navel in, that's that belly pumping. It's a little bit of a shorter inhale, like, because we want that focus on the exhale, but definitely inhale. Please do inhale. So as we get started, I will begin. You can pick this up when you're ready. If you notice that the pace that I'm working at is a little too intense for you, please take it at a half pace or a quarter pace, because it's more about the power than it is the pace. If you notice you want to go faster, please do that. So before we get started, everybody take your left hand to your belly. Take your right hand on top of your left. I'm not mirroring this time, sorry. And before we do the breath, let's just take a huge, big, spacious breath in through the nose. Exhale, press all the air out of your belly. Big release. Good, one more time, big breath. Press all the air out. Quarter of a breath in to begin your breath of fire. Three, two, one. Last time, keep exhaling. Press all the air out of your belly. Release anything that's stuck or stale. Maybe hold the breath out for one moment if you can, and then allow your breath just to return at its natural pace when you're ready. Keep your hands on your belly. Just notice that rise and fall of your abdomen with the breath. And take a moment to feel into that sense of heat that comes from right behind your belly button here. The yogis would say that if we had a universe or a solar system inside of us, the belly, our bellies, would be where the sun is. Our abdomen is where we have our digestive fire, our strong core muscles. It's also where we get our sense of discipline and self-power. So feel just for a moment longer this warmth that originates in your belly, radiates throughout your body and beyond. Just enjoy being lit up by your own fire, fully alive as you are and where you are. And from here, blink your eyes open. If you're sitting on a blanket, go ahead and slide off the blanket. We're gonna take that heat from the belly and just continue that with some core work, yay. Because core work is by nature a very invigorating practice. Of course, it can feel a little bit exhausting as we're doing it. It's hard work, but once it's over, we've got even more of that fire to get us going and have us feeling powerful. So that's where we're going here. You'll start with your knees bent, feet right in front of your hips. And as always, you have many options. You can keep your feet or the balls of your feet on the mat, on the floor, or take a block at whatever height you prefer. Take your feet to the block. Or lean back onto your tailbone, lift your shins parallel to the earth. Wherever you are, grab the backs of your legs, pull in a little bit and lift your chest. Nice. Draw your shoulders down your back. Find a little C curve in your lower back. You'll notice that all of that takes core engagement. Squeeze your legs toward each other. You can point or flex your feet, whatever brings you a strong line of energy. Then reach your arms out. Take your hands to the right and begin to swim through space. This is a practice called cosmic abs, in the spirit of making space, taking up space, getting a little ungrounded here for a moment. Switch sides. Good. Remember, you can take breaks. You can lower your feet. Just keep lifting your chest. Yes, switch. Switch again. One of my teachers says swim toward the spaceship. Switch. Maybe you're flailing toward the spaceship. I don't know what's going on in your space station today. No judgment. We're switching. You got this. So good. We're taking one more pass at either side. Switch and swim. Yes. Beautiful and powerful. Switch. And release your feet to the earth. Fold forward. Just drape your upper body over your lower body and give yourself a hug. Let all of those muscles in your abdomen, your belly, completely release. We did a lot of contracting in that moment of the abdomen, so just let it do the opposite. Let it expand. Inhale your biggest breath. Let your belly take up space. Exhale, release belly button towards your spine. Just some deep belly breaths here. For another moment, just to sit in the warmth of all that heat you're building, to feel the vigor and power of your own aliveness, even in stillness for just a little longer before we get moving again. When you're ready, take your hands, your fingertips beside you. Walk yourself upright. Come onto your hands and knees. We're gonna come to standing. To do that, tuck your toes. Shift back onto the balls of your feet and let your knees lift. So you're in a little squat if you can. And then lift your hips, drop your heels, fold forward. Like you are the smoke rolling off of that fire. Bend your knees, tone your belly, and roll yourself upright one vertebrae at a time. Dhamavati rise. Dhamavati is the goddess of smoke. Back to standing. Doing okay? I can't hear your answer, but I hope you are. So we're gonna keep moving here, keep going with our invigorating practice. Before we go anywhere, grab those yoga blocks. Set them up so that they are, rather than being at the top of your mat on either side, set them in front of your feet a couple inches at their highest height. We'll want them there in a moment. And then back to the top of your mat, hands to your hips. This time start with your left leg. Step your left leg a leg length back on the mat. For those of us with longer legs, I know it's not great news. So this time your left toes are facing the long side of your yoga mat. Your right toes are facing the short side. I'm not mirroring you this time, I'm sorry. I know it's a little confusing that I've switched back and forth, but since we started at the top of the mat, I've stepped my left leg back, you have your left leg back. All right, so left toes to the long side, right toes to the short side. Right leg is straight for now. Just like we did in Warrior One, we press like crazy into that back foot. Fire up that back leg, then start to square your hips to the long edge of the mat. Good, then bend into that right knee for Warrior Two. Take your right hand to the outer edge of your right knee, press your right knee into your right hand. That's a little self-adjustment to show you the action that we want to keep in the leg to keep the knee safe. Squeeze your thigh bones in, press your feet out, take up space in these strong legs, and then inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, reach out, take up space in this proud upper body, lift your heart, gaze over that right shoulder, Virabhadrasana 2. You can play with deepening your pose, maybe bending into your knee, maybe deepening your pose just means taking a more present breath. Really nice. Take up that strong space. And then as we inhale, we're gonna lean back, left fingertips to the left thigh, right arm overhead. Notice that front knee, it's gonna wanna straighten, keep bending, keep pressing into your back foot. As you exhale, bend your right elbow to your right thigh, reach your left arm toward your ear. Pull your left shoulder back in space, press into that back foot, bend that front knee. We're gonna move with the breath. Inhale, lean back, reverse warrior. Exhale, lean forward, side angle. Keep moving. Find your pace. Your legs don't move at all. They stay strong and solid. Bending the front knee, pressing into the back foot. Your core facilitates these big fluid movements in your upper body. You're taking up all this space. Maybe you even imagine that you're using this movement to clear space, clear away what you don't need. Maybe clear away the past season or whatever in the past that you don't want to take with you. Whatever it is, so strong. We're going to take one more pass from back to front. Inhale back to Warrior Two. Kind of a funky transition here. Take your hands to your hips. Hop your back foot forward a little. Keep bending your front knee and step powerfully into your front foot. From here, we're going to launch onto that right leg. Bring hands to blocks so the blocks are at their highest height. Walk your blocks out until they're underneath your shoulders. Warrior Three now. We've gone from Warrior Two to Warrior Three, just with a little support from the blocks. You'll notice this left hip wants to kind of hike up and be sassy. Square it. Pull your left hip in line with your right. Squeeze your leg muscles to lift your leg from there. Flex your foot and press your heel backward. Lengthen your head forward, lengthen your spine. Yes, draw your shoulders down your back. Round your low back a little bit to tone your belly. Little bend in the standing leg. Excellent. Virabhadrasana 3. 2 strong breaths just to take up this space. You're doing so well. And then slowly place your left foot beside your right. Fold forward. You might notice there is a contrast from one leg to the other. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. This time, again, just roll all the way up. Dhamavati rise. Beautiful work. All right, I'm gonna move just so you can see me more easily, but you can stay exactly where you are. Blocks stay set up, hands to your hips. This time, right leg steps back, a leg length back on the mat. You're doing so well. Your right toes face the long side of the mat, left toes face the short side. Left leg stays straight for now. And just like we did in previous passes at this, we start by pressing like crazy into that back foot. That is our strong foundation. Square your hips to the long side of your mat. Then bend into your left knee. Left hand to the outer edge of your left kneecap. Press your knee into your hand. Keep that because we want to keep this knee safe. Good. Squeeze your thigh bones toward each other. Press your feet away from each other. Let these legs take up their space. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, open your arms wide. Gaze over that left shoulder. Squeeze the bottom steps of your shoulder blades together and let this upper body take up space. Yes. Warrior two. Strong, solid, and spacious. I love it. Take an inhale, lean back, right fingertips to your right thigh. Left arm reaches up, peaceful warrior, reverse warrior. Exhale, left elbow to your left thigh, right arm toward your ear. Move your right shoulder back in space. Move with your breath. Your legs, your front leg especially, it's gonna wanna back out of the bend, but you're gonna keep that bend. You're gonna keep pressing into your back foot. The legs stay exactly as they are. We move with the core. We make wind, we clear space. We are powerful warrior yogis, taking up all the space we are allotted. I love it. We're taking one more pass from back to front, back to warrior two. Hands to your hips, hop your back foot forward just a bit, press into that front foot, launch up, maybe, whoop. Hands come to your blocks. Walk your blocks out until your hands are underneath your shoulders. Warrior three on the blocks. Notice this right hip, square it with your left, that's the work. Then squeeze your right leg muscles to lift your leg. Reach backward through your foot, forward through the crown of your head, lengthen your spine. Keep squaring that hip. Little bend in the standing leg. Draw your shoulders down your back and round your low back a little bit to tone your belly. So good. Feel that power in yourself. You're super strong here. And then lower that right leg to meet your left. Fold forward. We're coming back to the mat the same way we came up. So heel toe your feet in toward each other. Lift your heels. Drop your hips as you bend your knees into that squat. And then just come to kneeling on your mat. This would be a wonderful place to pad your knees if you'd like to kneel on a blanket. That's a lovely idea. From here, we're gonna just continue on this thread of these strong, invigorating postures that help us play with taking up space, moving ourselves through the space around us, honoring all four directions. It's just all about that essence of being alive and open. But remember, take these exactly as you need to. Start with your hands on your hips. Send your right leg straight to the right. Your right toes can come out. I am mirroring you again. I'm sorry, I know it's confusing to switch back and forth, but alert, I am mirroring. So your right leg is out. Your toes can come out at 90 degrees. You can take them at a little bit of an angle, or take your toes straight out from your ankle, just depending on the anatomy of your foot, really, what feels better. You notice how you kind of wanna, left hip gets sassy, and you kind of collapse, collapse in the hips. You wanna resist that. Squeeze your glutes and press your hips forward. I'm gonna take a real quick pause, get some water. If you need a water break, this would be a great time to do it. Okay, thank you for your patience there. All right, so we have the right leg out, foot positioned as we need to, engaging the glutes, sending the hips forward. Inhale, reach your arms out. Again, squeeze the bottom tips of your shoulder blades together. From here, we're coming to quarter moon pose. We're gonna take this left hand underneath the left shoulder. You can use a block as well. You float this right arm up, float your right leg up straight out from your hip. Yeah, it's really strong in the legs, you'll feel it. You, again, squeeze your glutes, press your hips forward, pull your shoulders back. You feel yourself just suspended in space, honoring the four directions, north, south,
east and west. You can tuck your toes for more balance. Beautiful, so strong. As you exhale, plant this right foot, just roll right back up. Then we're gonna take the back of the right hand to the inside of the right thigh. Lean and reach to the right as your left arm comes toward your ear for gate pose. This is the culmination of all of the side body stretching we've been doing, this really deep opener. Again, you press your hips forward, you pull your shoulders back. You're probably feeling a lot of sensation in the side of your body, so support that with your deepest breaths. Look up or down, whatever works for your neck. Wonderful. Reach and breathe. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands to your hips, right leg comes in. Left leg goes out. And again, you can angle your foot in at 90 if that works in your ankle. Take it at about 45. Take it straight out from your ankle. It depends on the anatomy of your foot, really. It's no right or wrong. It's just whatever is more comfortable for your ankle, really. You notice how this hip gets sassy. We want to resist that. We integrate the hips by squeezing the glutes and pressing the hips forward. Very nice. Reach your arms out as you inhale. Squeeze the bottom tips of your shoulder blades together. For quarter moon, right hand, yes, right hand, comes underneath your right shoulder. Oh, the mirroring. You float your left arm up, elbow above your shoulder, left leg floats up in line with your hip. Flex your foot. Yes. Hips forward, shoulders back. You feel yourself in space, in all four directions, taking up all the space allotted to you. Beautiful. If you're shaken, me too. Exhale, lower that left foot down, come all the way upright, back of your left hand to your inner left thigh, reach to the left as you continue to press really strong in your right leg, gate pose. Hips forward, shoulders back, side body extending like crazy. Beautiful work, you've got this. Come right back to center as you inhale. Exhale, hands to hips. Knee comes back in. Sit back into a seat and watch for just a second. So I'm about to take us in for one more really invigorating, opening pose, and then we're gonna start to transition into a more restorative aspect of our practice, just to create that balance that we always are looking for. But one more pose to really just open us up and get us in tune with our sense of being spacious and alive. And it's baby wild thing pose. And the reason I want you to watch real quick, I'd like to demo it before we go through it together. Just because if you go into it and you don't know what you're going for and I'm explaining it while you're trying to do it, it can end up feeling kind of like Twister, like right foot here, left foot there. So watch so you have an idea of where you're going and we'll all go together. So baby wild thing pose. It's a heart opener that I find is pretty accessible and it feels really good. So if you start in a seat, let's say I'm gonna start with my right leg straight out, my left leg bent. From here, I'm gonna inhale, reach my left arm up, trace a circle. Exhale, take my left hand down. I'm gonna turn so you can see. Take my left hand down in line with my left hip. My fingers are pointing straight out away from me. And then I'm gonna walk my hand about 4 to 6 inches away from me so I have some space for my shoulders. Then just like we've been practicing, we're gonna inhale, press those hips forward, lift the hips and come up onto this left knee. You'll plant your right foot. Squeeze your glutes and send your hips forward just like you practice. Then maybe send that right arm backward, shoulders back, and press your chest toward the ceiling. Baby wild thing. You'll release when you're ready. So I'll take us through that together on each side, but just know that as always, if you are feeling like, okay, I am invigorated enough, I don't need this, I don't need to be more invigorated, that's fine. You can do any of the other work that we've been doing through this practice. You can take a child's pose, take a twist, take what benefits you. I'm gonna cue us through this. You go where you wanna go. For baby wild thing, start in your seat. Keep your left leg bent. Send your right leg out. Maybe take the flesh out from under your sits bones. Inhale, trace a circle like the moon with your left arm. Plant your left hand in line with your hip, fingers point out. Move it about 4 to 6 inches away from you. Engage your belly, your glutes. Inhale, send your hips forward, press up onto your left knee, plant your right foot. Squeeze your glutes and send those hips forward. Maybe reach your right arm back as you pull your shoulders back. Heart open. Yes, one of my teachers would say that this pose is like laying your whole body across the earth. So just feel all that space of an open heart. Good, release as you're ready. On an exhale, nice and slowly. Woo. Bend that right leg and just come to a seat for a second. Let that settle in your body. Notice how you feel from side to side. And then for the second side, go ahead and send this left leg out. Right leg bends in. We're gonna inhale, trace a circle like the sun with the right arm. Plant your right hand in line with your hip. Fingertips point away from you. Move your hand about 4 to 6 inches out for space. Engage your glutes, your low belly. Inhale, press it up. Send your hips forward. Come up onto this right knee. Plant your left foot. Squeeze your glutes, hips press forward. Squeeze your shoulders back as you reach that left arm back. Drape your whole body over the planets, over the moon. Take up all your space and open that heart. Gorgeous. How's that breath? Are you breathing? Release as you're ready. Come back down. Come back to a seat and let that settle. Lovely, lovely work. From here, send your fingertips, your hands beside you, and take your legs straight out in front of you. Just bounce your knees out a couple times. Maybe rock your feet in and out just to release in your hip flexors. Maybe circle your ankles. We love to go on autopilot when we circle our ankles, so be really mindful about this. Notice your joints and your bones and muscles working, and switch the direction. Again, you're just moving through space, making space, taking space. From here, come back to center and flex your feet. Take a little bend in your knees and sit up nice and tall. So legs are still out in front of us, feet flex, but bend these knees. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale like lava, just fold forward, drape your upper body over your knees. I say bend your knees here because I am, again, more concerned with stretching your spine than I am perfectly straight legs. You can bring your fingertips beside you on the mat or on blocks. You can grab your thighs, your shins, your ankles, or your feet. Just find what works. Find your practice again. And fold forward. Stretch all the spaces between the vertebrae of your spine. We just did some back bending, some heart opening. So this forward fold serves to move our spine the opposite way, just to neutralize us and balance us out. We're also beginning to transition into the more gentle, contemplative aspect of our practice. So in this forward fold, you feel yourself physically drawing inward, beginning to notice just the subtle sensations of the moment, beginning to tune back into your fine breath, beginning to let the breath just smooth out any rough edges as you just draw inward and go deeper. And when you're ready, take your hands or fingertips beside you. Slowly begin to walk your spine upright And then find your way down onto your back. Just roll down and hug your knees in towards your chest once you get there. We've also done a lot of squeezing of the legs, glutes, hips, just a lot of contracting of those muscles to do all of our strong work. So we'll do the opposite now. We'll stretch those muscles out just to, again, balance, neutralize, and take really good care of ourselves. So start by hugging your knees in towards your chest. From here, keep your knees bent, but separate them as wide as your armpits. Again, keep your knees bent. We don't want to straighten the legs. We just want to lift the shins so that they're parallel to the walls beside us. Maybe you're doing this outside, so maybe they're parallel to your deck or the trees. But for happy baby, reach your arms inside your legs. Either grab your shins or grab the outer edges of your feet. Pull down with your hands. Press up with your feet. That push-pull action starts to take you deeper into the stretch of your groin, your thighs, your hips. It also gives you the leverage to really press your tailbone toward the mat and get a nice stretch in your lower back. So just enjoy that here. Notice how the energy continues to build and to percolate, even when we're still, as long as we're breathing. We're present to our own experience. Really good work. Soften where you can. Soften your shoulders toward the mat. Soften your jaw. Maybe even soften your thoughts toward yourself. Excellent. We're taking 3 more of our biggest breaths here. The biggest breaths you've taken in this practice. Maybe in this day, this week, this month, this year, just breathe with it. And then as you release that last breath, draw your knees back in towards your chest. Ooh, hello, lower back. Give yourself a squeeze. And we're going to take one more opportunity to just move with the breath, get our energy flowing again, and just dive back into that current before we really settle it down. So grab the backs of your thighs. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, rock up onto your tailbone. Inhale, rock back onto your shoulders. A spinal rock, moving with the breath. Just another space to enjoy how it feels to link your body and breath together. Create that connection. If this feels unsafe in your spine at all, come to a seat and we'll meet you there. Just use your core for momentum. Feel like you're rolling your spine out like you got a rolling pin. Enjoy just creating that sense of being invigorated and alive. One more time. You're doing great. Next time you sit, or next time you roll upright, roll to a seat. And then if you're using a yoga mat, go ahead and take your yoga mat, take the short edge to a baseboard. So if you're inside, I should have specified this at the beginning, I'm sorry. We also need a wall as a prop. So if you're inside, you'll want to find a wall that has some space. If you don't have a wall, you can use a chair for this, and I will explain how that works in just a moment. If you're outdoors, maybe use a tree instead of a wall. So we're coming to legs up the wall. This is what I'm going to offer for our Shavasana, for our final resting posture. If, of course, there's something else you feel like you need more, take that instead. And if you do this, you get about halfway through and you want to change your mind, do that. You're free to. If you're coming into kind of a traditional legs up the wall, I'll tell you how to get into that first. If you're using a chair, I'll explain that next. So, for legs up the wall, let me make sure that I'm kind of centered here so you can hopefully see me. All right, so for legs up the wall, you're just gonna sit down with one of your hips right on the wall, like so. Then from here, you're just gonna lower yourself down so that your shoulders come to the mat or to the floor. Swing yourself around, it's not super graceful, until your tailbone is on the wall. If you have tighter hamstrings, your tailbone might not come to the wall. Your knees might bend, that's fine. If you're using a chair, all you're gonna do is lie flat with your back on the floor, and you're going to, I don't have a chair here, but I'll kind of show you what your legs are going to look like. You'll lie flat, and then you'll kind of swing your legs up so that your calf muscles are resting in the seat of the chair. So the chair is totally supporting this bottom part of your legs, and you're still getting that elevation in your legs. And this is where we're starting to wind down, so find what's comfortable for you. Find exactly what works for you. With your legs up the wall, you can flex your feet. If you'd like to stretch your calf muscles, you can point your feet if you'd like to stretch the front of your ankles or the tops of your feet. If you're not concerned with either of those actions, just let your feet be kind of neutral. Feel free to place a blanket under your tailbone, under your head. You can even cover up with the blanket if that feels beneficial. You can rest your arms by your sides with your palms facing up as a gesture of receiving. You can take your hands to your belly face down as a gesture of grounding. You can even take your blanket to your belly if that little bit of weight helps you feel safe and grounded. Or maybe it feels nice just to stretch your arms straight overhead, or take those Shiva trident arms here. Anything at all that makes you feel like you are just creating your own space of comfort and openness. And you return to your breath. Just like you practiced at the beginning of this yoga session, you inhale through your nose. You exhale through your nose. You start to observe the rhythms of your breath. You go deep into witnessing those currents of energy that animate you, make you feel your own sense of aliveness. You allow the boundaries between your body and the ground or the mat to dissolve a little bit. You feel that sweet sense of rest that comes after hard and powerful work. The work that you put into your yoga practice today. The work that you are putting into your relationships and your work in the world, and into everything you do in this life. You just take a moment to transition from effort to ease. And though our practice today was focused on invigoration, rejuvenization, I hope that's a word, feeling alive, essentially. This practice of relaxing is part of that work as well. For in order to be truly as alive as we can be, we have to be present to our lives. And that presence begins in these moments of stillness, deep quiet, rest, and peace. Sometimes being present to our lives means being present to the fact that there are
dogs barking next door, as is my situation right now. Maybe in your life, there are kids around talking or just other sounds and sensations. Here we can just practice using them as mile markers that alert us that we are in the present moment. This is all part of our present experience. You might also be starting to feel more sensation in your legs, your lower back, both areas that this pose works with. And again, you just use them as indicators of your own experience to create more awareness of your moment. And remember, you're free to adjust your body at any time. You just keep coming back to the breath for a little while longer. True aliveness begins with one conscious breath at a time. Of course, you're free to stay here as long as you like, but for the sake of this specific practice, I'm going to cue us through 3 more deep breaths, preparing to transition from this inversion that we've been in for a while. Really therapeutic for the legs, but we want to take it slow, so take a few deep breaths, getting ready to move. And just another moment to enjoy being exactly where you are. And then begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can move your hands and feet, maybe gently moving your neck from one shoulder to the other. Anything that brings some gentle awareness back to your body. And then slowly bend one knee, then the other. Bring your feet flat to the wall. You can take your hands to your legs and kind of rub the muscles. Start to get this circulation and warmth coming back to your legs here. And take your time, but whenever you're ready, just start to kind of shimmy your tailbone away from the wall until you can roll over onto one side, using your hands like a pillow. Pausing here for just a moment. Enjoying this as a yoga pose. This is one of my favorites because this is where we get to transition from the practice on the mat to the yoga practice that we live. Whenever you're ready, bring your palms down and begin to press your way upright. Return to your comfortable seat one more time. You're probably near a wall, so you can use that for support in your back. If you've got a chair that you use, you can sit in your chair. You can sit on a blanket. Just again, and as always, find yourself exactly where you need to be. And then lengthen your spine. Reach the crown of your head toward the ceiling, toward the sky, your tailbone to the earth. Slide your shoulders down and back in space so that you have a bit of a lift in this open yogi heart of yours. And maybe close your eyes one more time. And here we are again. We started our practice in this very same position. So we're balancing it out by ending here as well. You may notice some shifts, maybe a little more openness in your fine hips, more ability to lengthen your spine, or maybe it's a little more subtle than that. Maybe you're breathing a little deeper, or you are with your breath for the first time in a while. Maybe your mind is just a little quieter than it was when you began. Or even if it's not quieter, maybe you feel more able to draw your mind from your thoughts to your breath as many times as you need to. We'll just sit here together for one more moment, absorbing the benefits of the practice that we shared today. Just feeling into that current of aliveness and vitality and well-being that runs through us. Strengthening our relationship with that aliveness as we do when we practice yoga. Just sitting here in your moment for a little while longer as we take a few more conscious breaths together in practice. As you feel ready, circle your hands to your heart to Pranam, Anjali Mudra at your chest. This is a practice of honoring. So if it feels okay, you can bow your forehead toward your chest, just bowing to your heart, to your practice, and to everyone who practices yoga in its many forms. And as always, before we close the space we shared today by saying Namaste, I'd like to offer the meaning of Namaste to you, as it was taught to me by my yoga teacher, and to her by her yoga teacher, and passed down by thousands of years of yoga and lineage that has come before us. And I hope that as I offer this meaning of Namaste, that it will be a blessing for you today and in the days to come. I see the light of consciousness in you. I see the soul in you. Namaste. Thank you so much. As always, you did a beautiful job. It means so much to me that you would put your energy into this practice. And I love that you're practicing. So thank you so much for showing up. It matters a lot. So good for you, and good for all of us who encounter you in your space of yoga and consciousness. If you enjoyed the practice, I would love it if you could like and comment on the video, let me know. You can subscribe to my channel if you'd like to be alerted as to when there are new practices out. And if you'd like to get my newsletter and just have these practices and my writing and all that good stuff sent straight to your inbox, you can always send me an email, send me a message, and tell me your email, and I'll add you to my email list. And same goes for feedback. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can leave a comment. Find me on Instagram at WildYogiThing. Send me an email. I would love to hear from you. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, of your evening. And it is such an honor to practice with you. Love you like crazy. Thank you.